Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today on Muslim Mummy we are reviewing the Deen Magazine. This is a magazine that's based in Canada and they will actually be coming to the UK early next year inshallah, which is great news for the UK parents. Deen Magazine, they have two magazines, one for the age range of 5 to 7 and one for the ages of 8 to 11. I actually like that because that way you don't have one magazine that is basically meant to fit, the younger children and the older children. Each magazine focuses on that age range, uses activities that are suitable for that age range, and the words, if for the younger children the words are more simple so they can understand it, and obviously with the older ones there's slightly more complicated activities for them to do. So if what we do is actually look at the ages 5 to 7 first, and then we'll move on to the age 8 to 11. This issue is on the Islamic New Year. Each issue focuses on something in particular. For example, the most recent issue was parents, and then both magazines will then relate to that subject, and then the activities relate to that subject and that age range. So let's have a look at ages 5 to 7 first. So if we open it up to have a look inside, as soon as you open it, it's clear how vibrant, how colourful it is and how bold it is. B, as soon as she saw it, she was like, oh, colourful. And then straight away, the first page is a Colour Me page. And it's not just a little bit of colouring just to pass away the time. It's actually educational because obviously it's one of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So you can talk to your children about the different names and what it means, and hopefully, by colouring it in, talking to them about it, they will remember the name. And then on the second page, then we have what is called the Sunnah style, which is giving you manners and characteristics of which to, how to live by. And in this particular instance, they are discussing how should we sleep. And it is important to instill these manners in children from a young age. So this is perfect to have in the magazine. Obviously, it's saying things like brush your teeth every night, make wudu before you go to bed, always sleep on your right side, do not sleep on your belly, and obviously recite 33 times Subhanallah, 33 times Alhamdulillah, and 34 times Allahu Akbar. So moving on to the next couple of pages, we then get the focus on the month of the Islamic calendars. As soon as you turn the page, you can see how bold it is, how vibrant it is. So many rainbow colours, which is sure to keep a child's attention. As you can see, it's talking about the moon, saying that we don't know when the new moon always will be, so the Islamic calendar changes. It makes it clear what the normal calendar is, 2016 this year, and then the Islamic calendar being 1438. All the Islamic months are listed here on the right, and they are in order, which then helps with the activities over the next couple of pages. We have the Islamic word search on the right, and then when you follow through onto the next page, you have a few questions on the left hand side to see if they've actually learnt the order of the months. Those are the pages that focus on the Islamic calendar. Then we move on to other activities. So once the children have learnt about the Islamic months, then there are some other activities within the magazine for them to do, which aren't specifically related to the Islamic calendar. Here we have a 4-leaf family. It gets the children out and about collecting leaves. It says go around your house or to a park, and then you can make a 4-leaf family. What is great about these magazines is that it's not just a magazine sent you and that's it, there's no more interaction. What you can actually do is send the craft back, picture of your craft to My Deen Club, email them, and you could actually win $50. So it's great that the way that My Deen Magazine is still actually trying to interact with your children, encouraging them to do activities and then share it with them. If you then move on to the next page, we have a Salah journal here. So obviously it's to help encourage the children to pray their Salah, pray it on time, and try to pray 5 times a day if they can do. And then we move on to the Arabic alphabet. Here we're focusing on Ta. You can colour, you can trace, and then obviously, the children are encouraged to write the letter themselves. And then an activity there, to help them recognise the letters and colour them appropriately. Moving on, then we have an activity that is then going back to the Islamic calendars again. It's a roadmap. You colour out the cut out the cars, and then you colour them all in. And then you are sent a roadmap sheet with the magazine, and then you place them on there. It's a great way of actually teaching the order of the months again. And then towards the end, you actually have a recipe that you can make with the children. Peanut butter jelly sushi. Got to admit, that's not something I've actually heard of before. Never really tried peanut butter and a jam sandwich. But who knows, we might just have a go at that. And then what I actually also love about this magazine is that it's actually encouraging some family time. They mention a family game night, and just a very basic game that you can play with the family. And towards the end, you have a page about the submission winners, to show the children's artwork and to show who actually won. So all in all, that's a nice little magazine for the age range, and one that I'll be gladly subscribing to once my youngest is that little bit older. So now we're moving on to the My Deen magazine, again the October 2016 issue regarding the Islamic New Year, but this time it's for ages 8 to 11. That's a perfect age range for my eldest because she's currently 10 years old. As this magazine is for the slightly older children, there is a bit more detail in the magazine itself. Questions that will make the children think a little bit more, and a bit more detail in the things that they discuss. So obviously in the first page we have who is Allah, and then we have the same name that was in the ages 5 to 7 magazine, but this time there's a bit more detail explaining the meaning of the name. And then there's a question asked on the other page to just get the children to think a little bit. For example, what if you had $1 million in your bank account? What would you do? Let's say tomorrow you wake up and Allah's blessed you with $1 million. What would you do with it? Write down all the things that comes to your mind. So in a way that's making them think about what they would do. I mean, if they discuss it with the parents, obviously the parents can, give them a few ideas of what, the kind of thing that they could do with it, and the kind of things that would actually please Allah, to do with this $1 million. So I quite like that. It will make it, the children sit down and just think that little bit about, wow, I've got all this money. What am I actually, what could I do with it? Moving on. Then we're discussing the Islamic calendar in a little bit more detail. The moon cycle is explained in a lot more detail than what it was obviously discussed in the other magazine. And then we have a secret code, and the children have to obviously use the secret code at the top on the left, and by using that they will then name each of the months. So this is a great way of getting the children more interactive, more to sit down and work out the codes, rather than it just being written there. This is a month, learn it. They have to crack the code, write it down, and then learn it, which makes it that little bit more interesting for them. Moving on, we have again a word search, again using the secret code from the previous pages to get the letters, get the months of the Islamic calendar, and then find them. Again, like the ages 5 to 7, we have a Salah journal. And then moving on, again, we have the Sunnah style on this page as well. Again, the same thing about brushing your teeth every night, making wudu. Although it's the same thing, I feel it's appropriate to have it in this magazine. So it's good to also have it in the magazine for the elder children, just as a reminder and just to encourage them to continue to follow those manners. Then obviously on the right hand side here we've got a crossword for them. They have to use the spellings of the Islamic months and put them into the crossword. Moving on, again we've got the same recipe here as well, the peanut butter jelly sushi. That's something that younger children and both older children can do, but obviously the older children may just be able to manage it all themselves without any parental help. And then again, My Deen Magazine is trying to encourage the children to interact with them a little bit more. With the older children, they've actually asked them to make a short video of them where they explain why they think it's important to know the Islamic months of the year. They're saying, you know, obviously some parents might be a little bit concerned about the video being shared with others, but My Deen say that they won't be shared without permission. And again, you know, the children could win the $50. And then at the end, they what I actually like is that there is a hadith of the month. This one in particular is, he who does not thank the people is not thankful to Allah. And then there's a bit more detailed explanation about that, about what is thankfulness. And this is a great way of actually encouraging the children to be thankful, you know, something that they should be, you know, not just the children but adults as well, be thankful every day. And then at the end, another game for the children to do. They colour in the months, they cut them out, they fold each month and then put them in a jar. And then once they pick it out, they then have to say what the month is before that one and what the month after that one is. It's a great way of helping the children remember the sequence of the months. And then again, at the end, the submission winners are again mentioned for that age range. Again, a lovely little magazine. We liked it, children liked it. It's educational, it's fun, it's colourful, it kept their attention. I think they're highly worth subscribing to. Once they come to the UK, inshallah, you know, I will be subscribing for the eldest. You know, she's quite capable of doing the magazines, and I'm always looking for resources for her, you know, to help her, you know, in her journey to learn about Islam. So I just want to say a huge thank you to My Deen for sending the magazines for myself and the girls to have a look at and to give our feedback. I also want to say thank you to them because they have been very patient for a review. You know, these magazines were sent to me, you know, before the Islamic New Year began, but unfortunately, you know, I've only just managed to complete the video and complete the review. So my apologies to them for that, but I hope you liked the review, and I hope, you know, you liked what you saw about the magazines, and inshallah, I hope the magazines are very successful when they come to the UK, because they certainly deserve to be.